Travelers on the Omnibus occasionally touches on mature subject matter with mature language. As such, the audience discretion is advised. We're back. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Travelers on the Omnibus, a field trip through nerd and pop culture. My name is... James McCarthy. Still James McCarthy.
I'm still Jody Kite.
All right.
I want to believe I'm still Ethan Skinner.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm Brady Davis. There was some...
You were legitimately distracted. It wasn't even like a...
distracted.
There was some... somebody
Bubble wrap.
has a box with like
Bubble wrap.
but it's the kind of bubble wrap that can't pop, so I was disappointed.
That's
I
the
think
saddest
that was the
bubble wrap.
box that Beast was in.
Oh, okay.
So I'm pretty sure, because I think that was my box when I was
Okay.
making
The
it.
marble
It was
character?
more like packing.
No, the board game you played.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's something that we did
There you go.
last week.
Do you want to leave it off with that, Jody? That might be fun.
Sure. And then I'll go into the other things I've done, which hasn't been much. So we got to play this really cool, pseudo hidden movement.
No, it's hidden movement.
I'd classify it hidden.
It's hidden movement. Yeah.
All three of us, and Jay kind of ran it. It was called Beast, right?
Yeah, Beast.
This
is a little taster for next week when we do our deep dive into hidden movement games. But
yeah.
Me and it's sort of like it kind of felt. What would you say the setting kind of felt like? It's a very fairy tale /
Yeah, it's like dark fantasy, but like not super dark.
Brotherhood of the Wolf kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I'd say like very like Nordic.
It is. It does
had
have
some Norse
theme.
I would go with German fairy tale.
Yeah, German.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, Germanic type
yeah,
stuff.
it kind of felt like that. So we like me and Brady both played hunters.
I played Fenrir.
He played a giant. Ethan played a giant wolf. It was a very interesting mechanic. You could play 2 cards a turn or something like that, or up to 2 cards a turn.
Yeah, up to 2
of
cards.
certain colors,
and
one of
the,
each color. But
the way they balance it out is like you have like some of your cards are going to be blue, and then some of them are going to be red. And typically, like the red cards were attack cards, or at least some sort of advantage cards, and the blue cards were like like movement. Draw a card if this happens.
And the way the iconography is kind of, you would think that you have to play red before blue because it's the same icon. It's just red is on top, blue is on bottom. But no, you can play them in any order,
right?
Which I think is great for flexibility. What I loved about it, it's the first time I've seen in a hidden movement game where you have card drafting, and that's super cool. And I thought from a proctoring and just a viewing aspect, I think everybody was really getting into it.
Oh yeah.
That's just me from viewing, but I want to hear from y'all.
It's a fun game.
I like hybrid stuff like that. Like you have there's a little bit of card drafting, which happened. I like the way the rounds worked. So basically the rounds worked. You played out your hand until you couldn't play your hand out anymore, and then you passed, and then it went to the next person until they could pass, and then it goes to what's considered the night cycle, right? And then we would do everything resets, and then we do
we
drafting.
Can do character upgrades.
You can do upgrades for your character. There's a form of currency in the game called, what was it called?
Grudge tokens.
Grudge tokens, where you use your grudge tokens to upgrade your character.
And sometimes you have to pay that grudge in order to activate your abilities, which I think it's a unique trade-off. Do you spend this now for a temporary boost on the board, or
do
you
save
wait
it later
or do you wait
for a permanent upgrade?
Which I think, for the most part, you want to get those upgrades as early as you can to have them as long as you can on the board, and then later on, you want to have those for those single bursts to really kind of put you over the top.
That game was ridiculously close. I think mainly because I died in the second round after the first part of that round.
Well, I thought at that point, Ethan. I mean, this is a slam dunk. Half the board is no longer playing on the other side. So, but then you come back. And you can come back in a very advantageous spot to maybe stop them. And I think, and Ethan, you can correct me, that I think he overextended where you had thought maybe it's like, okay, I've got just enough space to do this. And then actually found out that Jody had just enough space to catch back up with you. How would you
necessarily. I would say the downfall was in the drafting portion.
Okay.
Because with this type of game, it's very easy to hate draft. Like Brady and Jody.
Yeah, what we haven't mentioned is real quick that
the duel.
the drafting is with the person doing the hidden movement as well.
Yes.
Right.
So it's not just Jody and I would draft, and then Ethan would get his cards.
The monsters effect on the card.
He is giving me
Right.
cards, and then Jody was giving him cards.
Right. And
each action card has a hunter ability and a beast ability.
yeah, it's split down. Yeah.
And then the hunters and the monster also have their own special abilities, which they keep from round to round.
But those basic action cards, those would be drafted. And Brady and Jody, they would take all the attack cards, which I need in order to win the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that just having a very small pool of attack options, I really think that limited me.
Well, there was also just for me personally, it came down to the very last turn, and I just so happened to have the card. If I wouldn't have had the card that said I get to move 2 spaces instead of 1, and I could have only moved 1 space, you would have won.
Yeah, you could get.
I had to play a card that made me move 2.
You could end up cards in your hand that that don't allow you to move. Like, I can do all this cool stuff, but I can't get to where I need to be.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
First impressions, overall, positive, negative.
I
liked
like
it.
it.
I liked it.
I think I'd like to get another game in from the hunter's perspective.
I wouldn't mind playing as a monster.
Yeah.
I'll leave it because I got it in the car. I'll leave it here at the shop. If you guys can arrange it the weekend, because I know I got to be in working week. But if you guys can maybe I see some yeses.
I'm gonna get here Friday at 7 and play Magic, and then Saturday I'm probably gonna go to Mobile with Winter and do the there's a Fear Expo at the thingamajig.
okay.
So we're gonna probably
sick.
gonna
We have a studio audience of one Jason Holder from Whiskey and Wrestling, and he perked up. He's looking at deals for video games on the Switch right now, but he perked up when he heard Fear Expo. So yeah, there you go.
Yeah, so like one of the exploratoriums or whatever, is they have a Fear exhibition this weekend. I think. So if you Google like that, you can probably come across it.
Yeah, if you can manage to go back in time, and
I'm talking to Jason and not the audience.
Yeah,
you guys, you guys are gonna be fucked.
Yes.
You can't.
Cool. If you're listening to this, too bad, peasant.
Yeah.
Learn to time travel.
They're called passengers. Sir.
The other thing I did besides I played this game, I got to hang out with my kid Sunday. And we watched horror movies.
Of course.
And so,
What a shocker.
yeah, what a shocker. So the first one we watched is a nice little ditty that was made by MGM a few years ago that I didn't know was a thing, called Blood and Chocolate.
Oh, okay.
I
think I've heard of this.
It's a movie about werewolves, or as I noted while we were watching it, just wolves. So they filmed this in Romania because it was cheaper for them just to get wolves there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And I'm not going to go over the plot because it doesn't make any sense, as it should. The coolest thing, also the most hilarious thing in the movie, was the transformation sequence. So these werewolves, air quotes, like to do this thing where they give their prey a fair shot. So if you can make it to the river through the woods, you're fine. But the thing is, these are they turn the wolves like you're not going to make it to the river. Mm-hmm. The transformation sequence, they had them all running through the woods, and there's like 20 of them. They're just running through the woods, and one of them jumps in the air and does a corkscrew, turns into pure light, and then turns into an actual just wolf.
Ah, okay.
And so there were like 20 wolves, just
American Werewolf in London transformation scene. Eat your heart out.
Yeah, but with tinier wolves and really bad special effects.
There you go.
Then we watched a better bad movie because of the choices that were made in it, called Night Shadow.
Okay.
Night Shadow has I can't even explain the sequence. There's a sequence where the movie starts where this lady, she's it's supposed to be in like sort of like California, close to Los Angeles, more Los Angeles County and not actual Los Angeles. Mm-hmm. And so she's a reporter, and she's coming back from a failed career attempt in LA as a news reporter. And as she's like riding or driving down the road, there's this like Grizzly Adams looking motherfucker that's just like standing at the road, and they have like an eye exchange glance towards each other that lasts like, it feels like a full minute, where they're just they keep switching the camera angle while she's looking at him and he's looking at her, and you could tell that this guy's probably a werewolf or whatever, because he's you know, just really scary looking, but the image like melds into the sky of both of them, like when they keep switching back and forth, and there's lightning in the background, and none of this makes any sense, by the way. And her brother is an amateur martial artist. Of course he is.
Okay.
And his half shirts start getting tinier and tinier as the movie goes along.
That's hilarious.
We called him Quarter Shirt, and man, the overtones were there. Let me tell you, they were there. That's a fun movie. That's a fun movie to watch. Night Shadow. That's a fun movie. When the there's also Kato Kaelin is in this movie.
Okay.
This is before the OJ trial. This movie came out in '89.
Wow.
So he dies at some point. And when they show the werewolf kill him with a pipe, because that's what you do when you're a werewolf, the werewolf looks massive from behind him, like just gigantic. And so later, the werewolf's only shown twice. The second time the werewolf shows up, there's like a big fight sequence that happens, and the werewolf like jumps out from the rafters in this like old abandoned church or something like that. And they made the mistake of like showing the full werewolf, and it was actually like a little person in a suit.
Oh, wow.
And I died laughing so hard.
I mean, I'm just saying. I'm looking at a picture of the. It just looks like a big dog with like a big mane.
That's pretty much it.
Like it really just looks like a dog.
That looks like the dragon from fucking the barbarians. They just put more and more fur on it.
Fucking werewolf movies have either the best special effects of all time or the absolute dog shittest special. There's no
literally dog.
Yeah,
there is no in between.
Right.
You either have the best or you have the absolute worst. There is no fucking.
Yeah,
in
you
between.
have like over here.
Let me ask this quick question.
Go ahead.
Bad transformation scene or no transformation scene at all. Like it happens off screen.
I'd rather
which do you prefer?
I would
having
if it's gonna
the attempt or not.
If it's gonna be if it's gonna be bad, I'd rather not see it.
Yeah. I've seen the transformation scene in American Werewolf in Paris. So yeah.
Also, you have
that is a night and day example between it and Lynch.
Another night and day example would be like American Werewolf in London versus A Company of Wolves.
Yeah.
Where the snout comes out of the mouth of the human and it looks like shit. And was like made like 3 or 4 years after with like way less money, and John Landis wasn't involved.
Well, specifically Rick Baker.
Right, Rick Baker.
Yeah,
that's true. Rick Baker.
Yeah, Rick Baker versus.
But see, that's an interesting way of doing a transformation is having it like rip out of the human.
Right. If it was done right.
But if it's poorly executed.
Yeah.
That's like one of my favorite Goosebumps books was Werewolf Skin, and in that they literally had their skin that they put on. Like
okay.
But if like the moon was full, like they would get like a craving for it. Like it was like a drug almost.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a really, really, really well done a book for of that caliber. So.
And after watching those two bad movies, we finished it up with 1989.
Possession.
No. I'm not watching that movie with my child. Like,
don't show the kid No, don't even like set the movie on and walk out of the room. Don't even do that.
She's 18 and she's not old enough for that movie.
Just the subway scene. That's all you got to show.
Like the part where she's taking the electric knife to her throat.
Yeah.
I'm hiding under the table right now. I'm just no.
We finished it up with 976 Evil.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I was like, prepare your body. This is gonna be something. It's gonna be a treat. And it's Stephen Jeffries is just an amazing character actor. He was in Fright Night. He was the little nerdy guy in Fright Night, in the original Fright Night, of course, in '86. That got turned into a vampire or whatever. He can make that like complete nerd to monster transformation very, very believable. And you don't often see the demon in the sweater vest. You just don't.
Oh yeah.
And it's just spectacular to see. It's a great film. It's raining fish. That's a scene that happens in the. It just starts raining fish,
like legit fish.
Legit fish.
Ethan's interest has peaked.
Yeah,
Raining fish.
I heard raining fish.
There you go.
You know what's funny about 976 Evil? I was watching the special features on the DVD, and they actually had a 1-900 number you could call.
Wow.
From that for that movie.
Oh man.
I don't want it to rain fish in my house. No, I don't want to do that at all. No.
I just wanted to call it, see if it actually works. Does it rain fish?
Do it.
No, but it'll cost you like $300 per minute.
Yeah.
It was $3.99 a minute.
They've adjusted for inflation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Adjusted for inflation, it would be like $300. It'd be like something ridiculous.
All of them are phone sex lines now. I have to assume.
Yeah.
I very much doubt the 900 numbers even exist anymore.
Oh man.
Okay, so I'm seeing two sides. One side, pay $300, or two, it rains fish.
I guarantee you 1-800 numbers still exist.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
For sure.
Yep.
Like I could probably like type in 1-800 fuck now, and some sultry lady would probably
Soldier lady.
Sultry.
Sultry.
I heard soldier
Yeah,
lady.
of course you did, because you're going deaf, but that's not what I said. Hold on, let me call that number right now. Let's see what happens.
Let's not.
I'm curious.
You don't have the bank account
Get
for
on your
that.
knees, private. Because they're soldier ladies.
Yeah, that's it.
There you go.
I mean, that's for some.
Ethan, let's get away from the soldier ladies. What have you been doing?
Okay, so I could just go into saying that I played Persona 5 more because that's what I did.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm in much the same boat because I'll just get mine out of the way quick. More Tears of the Kingdom.
Yes.
He's called the number.
Yeah, he's
All right, so yeah, that's what we've been doing. But now, special report from Jody Kite.
If you are a woman seeking a man, press 2. If you are a man seeking a man, press
Censored.
If you are a woman seeking a
Censored. 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 Censored.
Yeah, definitely.
No,
need
I
Censored.
we've
good.
got it. We've got it. He knows. He can see the waveform where it's at.
Okay, we definitely need the explicit tag on this one specifically now. Okay,
At least it didn't go, hi.
yeah. Like the sultry way that Ethan tried to introduce whiskey and wrestling in last week.
Yeah.
Next week's episode is about how we got Jody out of debtor's prison because
Brady, what have you been up to? Good Lord.
not much of anything. I've been kind of obsessing over all the information being released about Warhammer 40k 10th edition. They've released pretty much all the rules now. The Leviathan boxes should be coming in pretty soon. But like all the core rules are for free online. All of the stuff for each army is online. All the stuff for the smaller combat patrol, where it's just you use the stuff out of a combat patrol box and it's got pared down rules. All of that's online.
Are the boarding patrol rules still in play too?
They said that boarding patrol is still usable. You probably have to do a little bit of tweaking. I would think. Okay, it's completely separate, but they say that they're going to it's going to be usable. So you would, but they don't have any rules for changing it over or anything like that. But yeah, I'm really interested. That's kind of the big thing that I've been doing. I got a combat patrol for the Thousand Sons that had some of the Rubric Marines, which are the smaller, the kind of baseline troops for them, and some Zangors. These are from the Chaos God Zinch.
Yep.
They're the troops of his stuff,
and that's the pure demon side of stuff, right? Like the Zangors.
The Zangors, no, this is like the Mortals stuff.
Okay.
You can put like demon princes, and I think you can soup in some demons, but it's mostly just mortals.
Okay, that's cool.
The lore for the Thousand Sons is pretty interesting because all of the Rubric Marines, which are the dudes in the armor, are not actually living. They're all dust because they got transported a very long time ago to some place that is inside the warp, which is a horrific nightmare, and started mutating everybody. And this sorcerer named Ahriman cast this spell that was supposed to save everybody, but it just turned them into basically mindless soldiers that sorcerers now have to kind of lead into battle. They're really big on magic and stuff like that, so they've got some pretty interesting rules.
I love the Terminators. I love the Scarab Occult Terminators. With that look to them.
Those are like the heavy troops. They're really cool.
Speaking of Terminators, the Leviathan box that's coming out is Terminator Flush. Like, it's so many Terminators. And my favorite faction is the Dark Angel Space Marines, and I've always gone with just their regular dudes and with the Raven Wing stuff. So getting this like influx of Terminators, which is what their Deathwing side is about, I'm gonna be really happy about that. It's a lot of bone white, which over the years I've kind of learned how to actually paint, I think, better. So I'm kind of excited to kind of get my hands on those as well. So when it releases this weekend, I'm gonna be picking up my box as well. Yeah,
Dark Angels look pretty cool. They have separate. They're one of the Space Marine chapters that got separate rules. A separate detachment is how they call it. Because all the Space Marines play with like the overarching main rule that they get. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really excited about Combat Patrol because it's just like you get this box, you build it. Here's the 6 pages of stuff for it, and you can go out and play it. It probably takes about, I would imagine, probably about an hour and a half.
There's been some backlash, and I understand their point, but I don't agree with it from a lot of, I won't say a lot of, but from a very vocal section of the 40K community that say that the game's been too simplified. I'm of the opinion that this is the right direction. Simpler rules means it's a lot easier to get newer people into the game, which I don't think they're hurting for people playing the game, but I do believe having that entry point be available for someone to be able to just sit down and play a game rather than have to learn like charts and
I appreciate that detachment forces, and you had to have so many of this type and so many of this type, and like every time that I tried to look at a 40K list to try and see like, okay, this is a good list, so what's in this, like my eyes were crossed because like it was so complicated in 9th edition. And there were so many like really annoying things, and it was really bad with every single time a codex came out, that army was way more powerful than all the other armies. And it was really annoying because, okay, if I get in and I buy this new codex, it's going to be good, and the stuff that's actually written down in it is going to be accurate for maybe a month. I might get a month of using this. I'm probably not even going to get to play, me personally, I'm probably not even going to get to play a game in between that time. And then it's going to get nerfed and changed, and rules are going to be added, rules are going to be taken away, and it got really, really frustrating. And that might also happen for this. But like at least it's like a whole lot simpler to get in. Plus, like if you have the models already, it like the transition is free. Like you all of the rules are free. Like eventually when the codexes come out, you'll have to get those and stuff like that. But like like the entry point is like super easy, and it's a whole lot easier to understand. Yes, you can't fucking buy equipment anymore. Like equipment doesn't cost anything. So yes, that granularity isn't there, but also it's a whole lot easier to understand a fucking list now because I don't have to pay 5 points for this gun versus this gun. Like
and to me it's now just a quicker path to get your war gear done. And I say that because you look at when war gear was pointed out, it's clear, okay, what is the best. Usually the thing that was the best like had more rules to it, but then you also had to balance an efficiency of, well, I would like this item, but where do I have to like cost things out to be able to get this from where do I have to take in order to be able to get this, where do I have to take from rather in order to be able to take this item. I like the idea of just kind of making all of like I'm gonna bring up the AOS's terminology for it. Instead of war gear, it'd be artifacts. I like it so that it's like, this is your list of artifacts. You get X however many, and you can take these. And I guess there is something to say. It kind of moves everything to a kind of vanilla, but where everything is kind of similar in that it just bumps it up just a little bit. Whereas you could get this one thing that did so much shit, and then this other thing that did almost nothing, and it's where you had the points to be able to do that.
The way they're doing, so like weapons and stuff, all of that doesn't cost anything. But the way they're doing it now is traits and artifacts are now, or relics is what they're called in 40K, are all under the enhancement. Okay. And like each, like in the detachments that we all have now, you get 4 of them, and they just cost points. So you can put all 4 of them on something that can take it. What they call an epic character can't take an enhancement because it's like it's like an actual named character. Yeah. But you could put all 4 of them on something if you want on 4 different things. It's just going to cost you points, and if it's a better thing, it's going to be a little bit more points.
Okay, well, that's cool. All
yeah,
right. All right, I dig that. Jody, I think you were about to pipe with something. I thought you were about to say something.
No.
Okay, my
just
bad.
Listen,
my bad. Okay.
Yeah, like I think that there are some there's some legitimate grievances, but then there's like some. I was reading some motherfucker was complaining because there were meta chasers who were just like wanting whatever is the good thing, what's going to help me win. Let me get this army, and okay, that's bad. But then he was also complaining because he wants to do like fluffy and lore lists and things, lore heavy lists and stuff like this. But then somebody else is doing something like fun and silly. He was like, well, that ruins the game for me too. And it's like, what do you want? Do you want people who are super serious and competitive about it, or do you want people who are just like trying to play it for fun?
He wants to play his own version.
He wants to play his own version.
Right, yeah, and that's a lot of the arguments I see. Just across, and it's not just in the Warhammer community, but it's across all minis communities.
I think in hobbies,
kind of like, I wish I could play this the way I want to play it.
There's a German GT Grand Tournament, I think is what it's called.
Yeah.
They are basically house ruling 10th edition. They're not just saying this army or this unit can't be used. They're saying these rules we are changing because we don't like them. And most of them are just like going back to like one more 9th edition rule.
So then just play 9th edition.
Yeah, that's
like if you're going to make that choice.
Like you shouldn't be called something that is connected to Games Workshop if you're going to just change all rules without even playing it.
Well, hon, either change all the rules to a previous edition or play with the edition that's currently active. Don't pick apart rule systems and try to stitch these Frankensteins together and make it.
Like, I don't like it. I don't like it, but it's perfectly good. Like, you're within your reason if you're in a tournament to be like, this one unit is broken. You cannot bring this. I don't agree with that because I think that maybe we should get some fucking data because Games Workshop is very data driven.
Right.
Looking at these tournaments. I don't think that you should, like these are the same motherfuckers who banned Leagues of Votan before it even came out.
Right.
But
at least in that, and I apologize for interrupting, but at least in that, Leagues of Votan were broken in their initial box, in their initial book, like they were that grudge token situation. Like they literally had to errata that almost as they were coming out.
Yeah, it's because everybody
where they were offering refunds if you don't want this Leagues of Votan stuff anymore.
If they're gonna do that, that's okay. But people like
Votan was an extreme example. What you were getting at with,
but I don't want to buy a book that is already like not. Like
right.
Instantly, it just came out today, and now everything in it doesn't even matter. Like, why the fuck would I even buy this book then?
Yeah, again, that was a very extreme example, but that is one of the more recent example of where their rules writing.
But yeah, it's a lot of people who was just like they didn't want it. The thing that they wanted wasn't what they got, and it's like you're not going to get that.
And you're not. I was in the last thing on Leagues of Votan. I think it's where their want to push product overrid, in my opinion, their look at serious and like as balanced as you can rules with as many armies as there can. You're never going to have a true balance in that game. You're just not. But at the very least, like there were pieces of that army where it was just ridiculously overpowered.
Well, is there any way, from an outsider's perspective, is there any way that they could have like their core rules, since the core rule book is the core rule book, and that comes out every so many years or whatever,
about 3-4 years,
3 or 4 years. If that is, that's understandable if that changes pretty quickly, but you have like, let's just say in AOS you have like 40 armies or whatever, give or take. To have a book for almost every one of those, and then for each one of those books to be useless after 6 months or before, it's like, is there any way that they would just, because I mean they make their money off their minis, so they're like double dipping with the books too, and then the books are like useless, and then you have to look up online to see what is what.
40K, at least in the last edition. I don't know how it's going to be in this edition. It's and that was one of the reasons why. That was another one of the reasons why. Besides, everything being too fucking complicated. That's one of the other reasons that it's because like power creep was like really, really bad. Mm-hmm. Age of Sigmar, I don't think has that problem
right now.
Most of the, even the older in Age of Sigmar is battle tomes. The older battle tomes, still hold up. Like win rates aren't. There's a couple of outliers in the top and the bottom. That I think really need some help, but mostly they do it by points. It's not just absolute changing rules unless something is like absolutely meta breaking.
And I think just from like hearing Holder talk about the game for hours, I'm not in a bad way, because we've had like it's a two-sided conversation. I have questions, I want to know what's going on and all that or whatever, because I'm inquisitive when it comes to nerdy shit, no matter what, no matter if I'm playing it or not. You would think that because it's really, like you guys have said before, it's really difficult for the people that are making the game. They don't have the resources, let's just say, that WotC has, as far as having 2 R&D groups to play test and to be able to, try and like fine tune some of these problems. You would think that if that's the case, that the point system would be where to go to fix things, at least for the most part, and not just like, okay, well, this character or this army is busted, so we're going to make the points for these certain pieces of this army more expensive for you to play as far as the points go, but also we're taking away these powers too at the same time. Like, that's double dipping into.
I mean, yeah, and again, like I don't want any of this to come off that is me like defending Games Workshop.
Well, no.
I have major problems with Games Workshop.
I think a lot of people do.
They are a very frustrating company. They are an incredibly greedy company. Like, this is like 40K is one of the most expensive miniatures games that you can play. Any of their most of their managing, I think some you can get away with not too bad, but yeah, like it is. I mean, they are greedy, but like they're not. I want to say that I've heard that they don't really have a test group anymore. So they're having to. Most
of their balancing, from what I have been able to tell over the last 2 or 3 years, has been solely based off of
tournament play
between the 45-55 rule, which is if a army is winning less than 45% of the matches that it's coming in, or more than 55% of the matches that it's going into, that's when they look for, okay,
changes.
We need to adjust things.
And this is tournaments. This is not like...
My problem with their adjustment is that they adjust both the data sheet / war scroll / basically what the unit does, along
abilities
with the points for it. Blitzbarb Archers, this goes back to 2nd edition. But Heathen Knights of Slaanesh was at one point the best army in the game for AOS, because they were very fast. They were also very durable. The Keeper of Secrets, I think, was a 2+ armor, 4+ ward save, which is okay. So, not accounting for rend on the first side, you're ignoring 5/6 of the things that hit you, and then of the things that did hit you and cause you damage, you're avoiding half of that.
Right.
So it's just on a model that has, I think, 10+ wounds. So it's
a lot of soaking of the.
It's very hard to kind of put damage on that. So what they would do is they change stat blocks for the units. It's like, okay, well, that's good. It's like, okay, we made it a little bit easier. Okay, then they also raise the point costs. In my opinion, more than they should have.
Right.
Even then, you are both diminishing the unit and increasing how much you have to pay to put the unit on the board in the first place.
Right.
I think there is. I've always said this about them. It's like they see something that's just a little off, also, and they will just majorly correct it.
Right.
In a way that is now it's no longer a correction. It's now an even bigger problem.
Right.
Yeah. AOS 3rd edition hasn't been as bad. They've done some pretty egregious things, especially lately, although I do have very much
Harvesters.
bias. Yeah, Gothazar Harvesters. They nerfed to Oblivion and in Ossiarch Bone Reapers, and then as a consequence to that, Mortek Guard are also like not as playable anymore. So everybody's skewing into like these other things that will probably get nerfed, even though Ossiarch Bone Reapers is within that 55%. I think they're like right at it right now. But it all depends on how, because like the people that I like Warhammer, they tally things up a little bit differently than 40K than actual Games Workshop does. So who knows? But then you got Khorne and Soul Blight at 60% win rates, and that's
the Khorne being at 60% blew my mind.
Yeah,
like I have Khorne. I've played the Khorne.
Khorne won Khorne was top 3, as in 1, 2, and 3 in like a 40-50 person tournament.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Jesus. Okay.
That's a problem.
Yeah, that's a huge problem.
Yeah, that's not when I saw that, because like they give you the little, whenever in the article at the top they give you like, oh, what's the top 3, and they'll just show like a picture of the 3. And I saw all 3 of those, and I was like, what the fuck?
I've got 2 weeks to get my blood letters out there.
And they were like,
that means for
and
me.
they were like, oh yeah, the article started out, this is a problem. Like this is not good.
So
Yeah, that's what I've been doing.
There you go. All right. I think we've been around the world. We're good to go. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for hopping on board the bus this week. If you'd like to leave passenger feedback, as always, you can leave it at travelers on the Omnibus at gmail.com. Again, that is travelers, 1L, on the Omnibus at gmail.com. Jody, where else can they get in touch with us?
You can message us directly on Spotify and interact with our polls, such as like what Ethan was doing this week. Fuck it, we don't care.
I said what I was doing.
He said he was doing Persona 5 Royal.
Yeah, that was like, it was like I'm just, it's a bit, guys. God damn.
No. On this fucking show, we explain the bits until they are no longer funny. God damn it! This is how it works.
I'm still waiting to get on the
literal
yurt-based economy. I need that yurt-based economy.
We can't have bits that don't. We don't yes and we yes but.
I bought 5 yurts on Amazon, waiting for this economy to kick in, and the manifesto still ain't here yet. Where's that? Where's that?
It's a printing issue. God damn it!
I
need an update on the manifesto.
He's staring at you like weirdly. They're staring.
I need an update.
They are staring at each other.
For people who can't see this,
I wonder how long this staring contest will last.
I mean, he blinked multiple
when the time for revolution is nigh, Ethan, you will know.
I will know.
Unless you decide to take an excursion under the water.
Unless I'm playing Persona 5 that day.
Yeah, that's possible.
There you go.
Under the sea.
Under the sea.
Stop.
Under the
Stop.
sea.
We will. Disney will find this and they will sue us to oblivion.
That's okay. My lips are smaller than the crab's lips, so.
Oh God,
it's so frightening.
Why did you put
pay $250,000?
biological?
Get treated like a villain under the sea.
Why did you put an atomically accurate crab with a mouth like?
You mean anatomically?
Yeah.
Okay, I heard atomically accurate crab, and I'm like, this crab got nukes.
Nuclear.
This is great.
Might as well.
A nuclear crab.
All right. We have 2 pieces of feedback.
Did you know that like biologically, like evolutionarily, like everything eventually becomes a crab?
I can't wait.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
I can't wait. I hope I'm a horseshoe crab.
It's gonna be like that episode of Frisky Dingo for anybody who have seen that.
All I'm imagining is society just becoming Zoidbergs. That's it. That's it.
More
I'm
or
okay
less,
with
yeah.
it. Yeah, everyone just turns into Curly from the Three Stooges.
Yeah, we all become cephalopodic.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
But as I was before I was so rudely interrupted, we have 2
I had a
pieces
fact
of
I had to give it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will rudely interrupt you again.
That's
good. I like that.
That's awesome.
We need to make it a trifecta. So this week with our Travelers on the Omnibus feedback, we have 2 pieces. One literally came in as we were recording the show.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
amazing.
Good. Damn.
We'll hold that one off just for a moment.
Okay, sure.
But our first one comes from our dear friend /enemy/frenemy, Kevin Gallo, a.k.a. Ronan Russo on Twitch. He really enjoyed, from what I can
Go
tell.
ahead and get his plug out of the way, so we want to.
No, I'll do that. I'll do that one again later. Don't worry about it. There we go. I kind of almost did just there. But I said he really enjoyed the chalkboard. He did feel that a couple of the anime fights were pushed to the side for him, but otherwise he really enjoyed the list. This is not so much a mea culpa as just a like. For me, again, I mentioned Guts and versus the 100 from Berserk. I actually love the stills from that. I love the watercoloring because it allows you, like, you see this beautiful artwork.
Oh yeah.
If the watercolor didn't look good, it would be a different reason. But it's expertly well done, and it allows you to fill in the gaps yourself as far as that goes.
And
so
I mentioned
really enjoyed that scene.
I mentioned the fight in Akira versus Tetsuo and Kaneda or Kanana or Canada, depending on what dub you listen to.
Yeah,
this is true.
I mentioned the galaxy fight in Gurren Lagann where they're just throwing galaxies at each other.
These are all things that were very close in scale. Like honestly, I would say top 10 for me for the Berserk fight. Like
The Berserk fight's pretty good.
Anime, I I kind of tried to not, because I figured if I was really going to like open that seal, that it was just going to be like all, especially since if we did just movies, it probably would have been a little bit better, but like 90%, I'm going to make people mad. A lot of anime is centered on like their fights all over
the shonen
place.
animes are.
Yeah,
sure.
shonen especially.
All the shonen animes are like fighting.
But then there's
mostly.
like other, there's other things that have fights in them too. But yeah, there's a lot of like really good old.
A lot of the classic anime, not even like super classic, but like there's a huge chunk of outside of like the shonen subgenre where there's a fight, but it's also a metaphor. Like the end of Vampire Hunter D, the end of the CGI Captain Harlock movie, where it just kind of like ends, but it's not really a fight. So it's like it can be a problem in that regard too.
Yeah, and there's like Spike versus Vicious in Cowboy Bebop.
That's another good
Any one of those. There's
I feel like if we wanted to include anime into a top 5 fights, don't include like movies and TV. Just say top 5 fights in anime.
Well, it had to be anime.
Yeah, we could do that.
Yeah.
But and I feel like you'd almost have to do that because then like I said, it opens up too much because like there's so many fights in anime.
Because anime, if you take out take out the animation, but if you take out the idea that it's a separate thing and like look at it like, okay, so anime has what? It has every genre that regular movies and TV have. It's got you got detective procedurals, you have horror, you have
slice
action.
of life sitcoms.
You have slice of life. You have so many different things. You have things you can't do in Gurren Lagann that you can't do in live action.
I want to be in a mech with 14 other mechs and also create galaxies and
throw them.
And even with and there are a lot of like famous fights in anime. Like take Tetsuo versus Kaneda in Akira. Like that's a really good fight, and it has a lot of meaning and everything. But if you break it down, like not a lot
happens. Yeah,
like you can't just watch that like some of these other ones that was on here. You can't just watch that fight and get a lot out of it.
Right.
Like if somebody had never watched Akira before, and then you just showed them, hey, watch this fight, they're probably not going to get a lot out of it because you have to watch like the whole thing
movie. Yeah, because Tetsuo
really
just
get it.
Tetsuo is just massively consuming himself and becoming larger without being able to control himself.
Context has a lot to do with fight scenes.
Yeah,
like, it has,
if it's not like a shonen anime, oftentimes in anime, like it's very
metaphor and context.
heavy.
Yeah.
Another one is in Neon Genesis Evangelion Unit 1 versus the 14th Angel. Like not a lot in that happens, but like if you know like the context of everything, like it's fucking crazy.
Right.
So anime does have that issue. I think like I could very easily do a top 5. Actually, it would probably be hard to actually get it down to 5 of anime fights.
Right.
I just kind of set that to the side because otherwise I would have to like then look through all of fucking anime and think about that and try.
This last chalkboard was really broad anyway.
Yeah, and this was like super hard for me to get this down to 5. Yeah, like super hard.
There you go. All right. Also, just as a quick reminder, the passengers, if you ever want to just drop your top 5 lists, we definitely want to hear about them and want to see other perspectives.
Yes,
on
let's
the same
judge
problem.
your opinions.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's the other feedback?
The other feedback comes from a friend of the show and friend of mine, Jason Kennedy, a.k.a. Hat, a.k.a. Siggy, a.k.a. Legion, a.k.a. We'll figure more out for him. But sorry I haven't had time to write recently. It's very cool to hear y'all are trying Song of Ice and Fire, the minis game. Is anyone looking at the Bolton starter when it comes out? Oh, and I'm still jealous of y'all with your Switches and your Zelda games. Finally, please hate on the state of War Machine for me, lol. Okay, so
I think we did that.
Just a couple of levels there. I'll just say again for War Machine.
War Machine. Oh,
War Machine, yeah. War Machine / Hordes, basically the privateer press.
Now it's just War Machine.
It's just War. I mean, they
Mark IV is Hordes exists, but now it's all just under War Machine.
War Machine.
Okay, yeah, because I always thought the name Warmahordes was stupid by them combining both of those.
Yeah, but it was the easiest way to do that. I guess, in my opinion. That game, not by market share, but by sheer momentum, had the wind for at least a good year and a half.
Oh yeah, it was a hot topic.
And like it was played more here at the shop. I know going to visit Jason over in New Orleans when he was living in New Orleans. It was the more played game in the shop than it was when.
Well, yeah, because all you needed was a $40 box to get started.
Well, no. You had people with $500.
Well, you did, but I mean, like the
I'm saying like the high end. No, I'm talking about the high end. Like people are dropping $1,000 on this.
Right.
War Machine had it more than 40K, at least regionally.
Yeah.
Right.
Like every Tuesday we would come and play.
Yeah,
but then 40K 8th edition came out and all of those guys dropped it.
Right.
That's part of it. Also, internally, I think there were mistakes and borderline treasons that happened over in Privateer Press that really damaged the game.
Oh yeah, they had like so many people just leave who had been
specifically Will Schick took the War Machine development team over to Atomic Mass Games.
Yeah.
And just not even nefariously, just but that brain drain into one side. It was I think that was one of the shadow reasons why a lot of the sub games like
Monster Apocalypse,
and a bunch of
Riot Quest, then they had Warcaster,
which
that was the three other. Was the three other,
which
games.
were smaller skirmish games inside of or just outside of that world. They moved that out, and they were being pushed more because they had lost so much from the core team.
Yeah, there was a very long time where War Machine 3rd edition was pretty much dead, and then they brought it back to 4th edition, and I like some of the stuff that they're doing, and I don't like a lot of the stuff that they're doing. I don't like that pretty much all of the stuff that I have now isn't going to be legal, at least in like their actual like main formats. Oh, if you want to play Legends formats, you can play all this, but it's not. But they've already said like it is not balanced for 4th edition.
Right.
And it's like, well, I don't fuck all that.
One of the things I was trying to get across is that the entry point for new players was low.
Yeah.
So if you have a low entry point, if you have a game that just came out and it's a secondary game for you or even a third game for you, and it's like $40 or $50 or whatever, you get into it, and then within like a couple of months or whatever, you're like, oh, I really like this. I'm going to spend more money on it. That's going to be more likely to happen than, oh, a new Final Fantasy card game came out or Weiss Schwarz just came out. In order for me to play this new card game, I got to throw like $200 or $300 at it before I've even played it. That's the point I was trying to make.
Oh yeah,
It snowballed real fast though.
Yeah. And I apologize for cutting that off.
Oh, it's all good.
What my thing was, the people who were spending big money to get into the game were not spending it in 40K and Games Workshop.
Oh yeah,
No. Privateer Press.
I understand that. But I mean, it had a low entry point for people to start and play though.
Yeah, it was very easy to say. And I think that's actually a good thing that this Combat Patrol in 40K is doing.
Right.
It's like, okay, well, it's not $40,
right?
But,
at least it's reasonable compared to some of the other.
You buy this, and then we can at least play a game together.
Right.
And I just want to touch back on Song of Ice and Fire for a little bit. Was somebody picking up Bolton?
Holder had said that he was interested in it. I don't think he has pulled the trigger on anything. Okay. Anybody's interested in Bolton, I'm gonna side eye him a little bit because like Bolton, that's weird lore. So
what, they just flay the dead bodies of the people.
Statistically, you probably have the most rapists in your army, so there is that.
God damn.
I want to say I'd like to challenge that point, but I really don't.
No,
I just don't.
Lannister, maybe they got the Clegane guys. Those guys rape a whole lot in the book.
Specifically the Clegane guy.
Yeah.
God bless the Hound. He just gets shoved in fire all the time. God damn it.
Yeah.
I love the Hound.
Yeah.
But that is feedback for this week. Again, gentlemen, thank you very much for your feedback. And again, any feedback you want, travelersontheomnibus@gmail.com. With that said, it's time for the main event. Thank you, fake studio audience, and welcome back to Trivia Time on the Omnibus, which is, I think, the 5th title of 4 of these that we've done.
Yeah,
so there you go. So, ladies and gentlemen, it's another trivia challenge this time for the Omnibus crew. The winner of this will get to pick a future episode, which they will host and direct us all to see and do. And no, Brady didn't suggest that he was going to win this one outright. I'm just going to say that right now. There we go.
Oh, I still have a chance.
I didn't do it on purpose.
You didn't do it on purpose. That is true. That is true. All right. So up first is Jay's Crazy Question Corner. Crazy Question Corner, again, is one where I start with a very obscure fact about something. And if you get that right, it's 5 points. If no one gets that, then it's on to a 3-point for a more specific thing that they might be able to guess. And then finally, if they don't get it from that, a 1 point. So obvious, if you don't get it at that point, what the hell is wrong with you? A clue. Again, 5, 3, and 1 points. There you go. The topics for this Crazy Question Corner are American singer-songwriters, Heyo, aka international films, collectible card games, and board games.
All right.
Those are the 4. Brady, you are to my left. Pick one.
Foreign films.
Foreign films, international films. All right.
Heyo,
aka international films.
I wasn't doing that.
All right. For 5 points. A millennium has passed since the 7 days of fire.
That sounds familiar, but
Again, there is no lockout, so if you guess here and wrong, you get to come back for the 3-point and the 1 point.
Censored.
cut all that.
Censored.
Yeah, it's actually making it worse. Okay, the man is going for it.
Versus?
No, that is incorrect. All right, unless anybody else wants to take on the last minute stab.
I got nothing.
3 points. This film's first introduction to the United States was a heavily edited adaptation by Manson International. This version is very derided, particularly by the original film's director. The name of this adaptation is Warriors of the Wind.
Nausicaa.
I need the full title.
Nausicaa, Valley of the Wind.
That is correct. 3 points. Yes.
Gotcha.
That is correct. So Jody gets 3 points.
That was the first time I watched that movie because it was on HBO.
Wow.
It was
Yes.
called Warriors of the Wind, and they butchered the fuck out of it.
Wow.
Nausicaa isn't the main character.
Yeah.
What?
Yes. Yeah.
What?
Me and I can also kind of. The first time I ever saw Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind was as Warriors of the Wind, but I was told it was Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind.
Same.
And I was like, "This is fucking garbage. Why? Fuck this." And, like, no.
This is why when Miramax went to distribute,
I found this out. Yeah,
Princess Mononoke. Miyazaki and some of the other guys from Studio Ghibli sent Harvey Weinstein a samurai sword with the note "No cuts."
Yes. No.
Also, because Harvey Weinstein was notorious for cutting the shit out of a foreign movie that he
to make it more digestible to the American audience. Speaking of which, just the 1 point question. Speaking of the director, the title of this question contained a clue to the director's name, Hayao Miyazaki. This movie predates the formation of Studio Ghibli, yet is considered as part of the Studio Ghibli collection.
Yeah,
this film has been recognized by Japan's Agency of Cultural Affairs as the highest ranking anime of all time.
Yeah,
that is correct. That is correct. Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind. This has a bonus point. So Jody, for you and you alone, where does the umlaut go?
I don't remember.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
The umlaut goes over the last A in Nausicaa. So just see if you wanted an extra point there. But you did get 3 points. That did not lose you any points there. So there you go. But that was the first question. Jody, going down the line clockwise. Pick a selection. We have collectible card games, board games, and American singer/songwriters.
Let's go with the singer/songwriter.
Singer-songwriters. Okay. For 5 points. This singer formed a proto-heavy metal duo with his friend and drummer John Small in 1969. The band was called Attila and featured no guitars, yet it did feature a Hammond organ fed through a wall of Marshall stacks.
Attila. I've heard of Attila before. Motherfucker.
He said it was a duo?
Again, I'll read the question again. This singer formed a proto-heavy metal duo with his friend and drummer John Small in 1969. The band was called Attila and featured no guitars, yet it did feature a Hammond organ fed through a wall of Marshall stacks. Again, I choose these questions kind of fit a field of study that would be favored by everybody at the table. The person whose hand is going through his forehead right now is the one I picked this for. If there are no answers, I will be going on to the next one in 3, 2, 1. For 3 points, One of the singer's most memorable performances was his Millennium concert performed at Madison Square Garden on New Year's Eve 1999. Of particular note is his rendition of his sometimes forgotten classic, Scenes from an Italian Restaurant, played after the turn of midnight.
It's
Jody.
not Roger Waters. But
It is not Roger Waters.
Roger Waters.
Brady.
I'm going to look really stupid if not. Prince?
No.
Okay. I'm going to look really stupid.
That's
I'm
how
not the
I
music
feel.
snob, so I can get away with it.
There you go.
I'm also not the music snob, so
Definitely ain't me.
Do you want me to go to the 1 point question? or do you
I
want
feel like I should know. I should fucking know.
One
I
this.
should
point.
too.
I was a shithill in 2000, so like I didn't know any good music.
For 1 point. Move over Jerry Lee Lewis and Elton John because this singer is the Piano Man.
Billy Joel.
Billy Joel is correct. Yes.
Oh yeah, Joel.
Billy Joel ran a Hammond organ through 8 Marshall amplifiers.
Of course he
That
did.
sounds about right.
Of course he did.
It made the audiences that came to it, they legitimately saw blood coming out of people's ears.
Jesus.
Jesus.
He doesn't sell tickets for the front row of his concerts because he said he got tired of like super rich people coming and just looking really bored because they don't give a shit.
Right.
So he like picks people from like the cheap seats randomly and they get to sit up front so he can actually see people who are excited to be there.
That's a good
Billy
idea.
Joel's awesome.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sick dude.
Yeah.
All right. You have, Ethan, either collectible card games or board games.
Let's go collectible card games.
Collectible card games. This one's a special feature. It's called Lockout. If you guess and you are wrong, you are locked out of the remainder of the question.
I like it.
All right.
All right.
So, CCGs for 5 points. Purchasable packs of this game come in several varieties, like the Battle of Chaos expansion and the Ghosts from the Past specialty product, as well as the hybrid product of the two called Millennium Packs. Again, purchasable packs of this game come in several varieties, like the Battle of Chaos expansion, the Ghosts from the Past specialty product, and a hybrid of the two called Millennium Packs. Go for it.
Yu-Gi-Oh.
You are correct. That is 5 points.
I was fucking thinking
It's
about
the
it.
Millennium Packs that got me because because I'll tell you why.
I was halfway thinking that.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why I know that because I bought one Yu-Gi-Oh PS2 game that came with a Millennium Pack in it.
For the 3 point answer, or this, or rather 3 point clue. This game also has a corresponding anime and is produced by a Japanese video game company. Yes, I tried to trap you all. Because Konami produces
Right.
Yeah.
Yu-Gi-Oh. And for 1 point, if you haven't guessed it by this point, I guess I have revealed all 5 pieces of Exodia and thus utterly defeating you, Yami
okay.
Yugi. Anyway, yeah. So if you didn't get it to that point, there you go.
I was dancing around Yu-Gi-Oh! And I was like,
Like in the
I'm
back
not
of my
too
head, I
sure.
was like, "Is it Yu-Gi-Oh? I think it's Yu-Gi-Oh."
That lockout scares some people.
Right,
don't it?
right.
There you go. All right, the
Way
final.
to go, Bakura.
All right, the final topic in this section of CQC: board games. For 5 points, this game features several standalone variants, including Royal Caribbean, Millennial, and Socialism.
Monopoly.
That is correct.
Nice.
Brady gets 5 points.
Nice.
For the 3 point, among pieces removed from later editions include the cannon, the battleship, and the sack of money. 1 point, much like the capitalism it is based on, everybody just goes around and round until one person is smart and lucky enough to have enough money to buy a sandwich. So yeah, there you go. That was Monopoly. I didn't think anyone would think I'd mention Monopoly on the show, so I thought I'd throw that one out there, but there you go.
Nice.
All right, so at the end of the first round, Ethan has nothing. Kind of like Monopoly.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Kind of like
Why
Monopoly.
did you laugh? Like it's only the first fucking round.
I didn't realize he had nothing until I stared at it. And it was just like, oh my God. Brady has 6 points and is currently in the catbird seat with 8 points. It is Jody. Jody, because you're in the catbird seat, you'll be our first promo. And yes, now for a message from our sponsors.
Do you like movies? Do you like television? No? Well, fuck. I don't know where to go now. Silence Your Cell Phones is a podcast hosted by Kevin Shelton and Jared Hubbard. I had to think about Jared's name for a second there.
Yeah, we flipping the script.
They
Cut that.
Censored.
they talk about movies and TV shows
cut that part out,
and
but that was a good
streamings.
joke. You just said cut
and
it. Ah!
I'm just gonna keep talking over them. They're on the platforms. They stream on YouTube once a week or something like that. Sometimes I don't know. I haven't kept up with the YouTube's part of their show, but they're entertaining fellows. You should check them out. Silence your cell phones on all the podcast platforms.
Jody, thank you very much for that. And, yes, all right. So now we're on to round 2. This is press your list. This is how it works. I'm going to give you a topic. I'm going to give you 4 selections in the topic and the order in which they need to be organized into a list. You can do as little as 2. You can do as much as all 4. If you get all 4 right, that is 5 points because you get 4 plus a bonus. If you do less than that, you'll get that many in the number of lists. So if you do a 2 or 3 point list, it's worth 2 or 3 points. Unless someone has a bigger, more correct list, in which case only they get the points. So do we all understand those rules going into it?
Yeah.
All right, your topics are IMDb, also IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I Might Die, Bro.
Okay.
So again, IMDb, also IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I Might Die, Bro. We're going to start with Ethan on the front on this one.
I want to go with also IMDb.
Also IMDb, which as we all know stands for It's My Damn Birthday. Place these celebrities in the order of their birth dates. Tom Holland, Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo, and Brie Larson. Again, that list: Tom Holland, Jeremy Renner, Mark Ruffalo, Brie Larson. Folks are writing away. Some are using digital styluses. Some are using pencils and paper.
This is in order
from basically who is the oldest to the youngest.
Oldest to youngest. Gotcha.
Yeah. Basically, who was born first, then second, then third, then fourth.
I'm gonna go with my gut on this.
Okay. And some people are going with their guts. That's good. Some people are going with their brains. Someone will go with their heart. And the trifecta will be completed of power, wisdom, and courage. That is a reference to The Legend of Zelda. All of them, except the first one, because the Triforce of Courage didn't exist until Zelda 2.
They had to retcon that shit.
Yeah, pretty much. All right, I see pencils down everywhere. All right, good to go. Ethan, you started off, so start this part off.
Oldest to youngest, we're going to go with Ruffalo, Renner, Larson, Holland.
Okay. Jody, what is your list?
Exactly the same.
Brady.
Exactly the same.
Everybody gets 5 points.
Okay.
Very good, very good.
Yeah, the only 2 that was iffy with me is Ruffalo and Renner. I was pretty sure Ruffalo was older, but I didn't.
That was the trip.
That was the one I had to think about for a second.
But I knew for a fact Tom Holland was the youngest,
and Brie Larson was the next. Process
youngest.
of elimination. Yep.
All right, Jody, you have IMDb, the Internet Movie Database, and I Might Die, Bro.
We'll go with IMDb.
IMDb, which as we all know stands for It Make the Babies. Place these phases of birth in order from first to last as they occur. Separation, afterbirth, opening, and birth. For those wondering, the source of this comes from the Queensland Government Health and Wellbeing tab. For more information, go to qld.gov.au.
What was that again?
Again, separation, afterbirth, opening, and birth. It make the babies.
Oh God, this is. I love how you got 3 dudes doing this.
Yes,
so it's like super uncomfortable.
There you go. I knew that if we had a female member of the cast, they would get like 25 points off of this, because they would also list all the subphases underneath the phases. It would be great.
I'm still trying to rack my brain what the fuck separation is, but we'll figure it out.
Don't look that up.
Yeah, no, I'm not looking
If
that
you
up.
do want to look it up, go to qld.gov.au.
No.
There you go.
Don't do it.
You now have a weirder search history.
Yes. Yeah.
There's that particular thing you have to explain.
Yeah.
I'm not confident in my list, but I have a list.
That's how I feel.
Brady is the final person. There we go. Okay.
If it's wrong, fuck it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Jody, start this off.
All right, so this is like the whole shebang bang.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so
I think the technical term is the whole kit and caboodle.
whole kit and caboodle.
There's just some old man speak, Ethan.
We're gonna
feel free to use that.
Well, we're gonna start with separation.
Hey, Ethan. It's good for the goose. It's good for the gander.
Then we're gonna go to opening, which sounds 10 kinds of weird.
So right now we have separation, then opening,
Then birth, then afterbirth.
All right.
I think I've got those mixed up, but we'll figure it out.
All right. Brady, what do you have?
I want to start out by saying,
Sorry, ladies.
the miracle.
We don't understand how you work.
Forgive our ignorance. The miracle of birth is a great and beautiful thing. It's just also it's a lot. So
That man's trying to eat Twix, and you just keep saying things to kill him.
yeah. So I
He has
apologize.
less oxygen than the people at the Titanic right now.
I apologize.
No, we're keeping that in. Don't you dare do it.
So I'm gonna go, and I think this is the same thing that Jody put: separation, opening, birth, afterbirth.
All right.
Mine's slightly different.
Okay, yours is slightly different.
I did opening, separation, birth, afterbirth.
You are all wrong. It is opening, birth, separation,
Okay, that
and
makes sense.
afterbirth.
Okay.
Separation refers to the separation and quote-unquote birth of the placenta.
Oh.
So yeah,
okay.
I was hoping someone would get so fucked up they put afterbirth before birth.
Yeah,
and we'd have the clip of a fucking lifetime.
Yeah, we all forget that the placenta is
I
a
thought
thing
you
that
were about to
happens
say the
after.
clit of a lifetime.
Jesus.
All right, Brady, we have the Internet Movie Database and I Might Die, Bro.
Internet Movie Database.
The Internet Movie Database. Place the following movies in order as they appear on the IMDb Top 250 as of June 20th, 2023, which is the day before the recording of this. So again, the IMDb Top 250 as of yesterday. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back. 7 and the Seven Samurai. Once again, the choices are Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back, 7, and the Seven Samurai.
Is it 7 or 7? It's been.
But like the special, no, just call it 7 and just be done with it.
This is in order of lowest to highest,
Highest
250 to up.
So
to one.
no. Like 1, 2, if it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's like what would
highest
be,
to
what's the
lowest?
highest
Gotcha.
rank?
That was the fourth one?
Highest to
okay,
lowest.
Seven Samurai.
Are we? Is this grossing or just ranked?
I think it's
the
their-
IMDb Top 250 rankings.
Okay.
So
And I think
rankings
it's
by
like-
IMDb
like-
users.
You rank a movie 1 to 10.
Yeah.
With I think there's 0.5s in
Yeah.
between.
No, there's points. So 0.1, 0.2, 0.3.
Oh yeah, so there's even more.
So
it's even
like,
more granular.
So it's like
than that.
like an 8.9 and an 8.8, and then things.
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But yeah.
And it's the highest ratings of those.
Yeah. So which one? Yeah, the one closest to the top of the list should be your first one
Gotcha.
in the list,
Okay.
and then going down.
I wanted to get some
Yeah, no,
clarification.
that's quite all right. I would rather you ask that, and we clarify that before we start submitting stuff.
Whenever we get to saying what our guesses are, I'm going to say this does not reflect how I feel about any of these properties personally.
Again, this is not what is as a good point from Jody. It's not a personal thing. It is literally what IMDb ranks as quote unquote the better films at this point in time.
I'm going by public opinion.
Brady did a cute thing with one of his answers, and I find that funny.
I got on this one too.
All right.
Yeah.
Pencil down.
Stylus down.
Stylus down. Okay, all three of them. Okay, so Brady, let's start off with you, brother.
7 Samurai, Empire Strikes Back, 7, and Across the Spider-Verse.
Okay. Go for it, Jody.
Number 1, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Number 2, 7 Samurai. Number 3, Star Wars. And number 4, 7.
Okay. Ethan.
Seven Samurai, Across the Spider-Verse, Episode 5, and 7.
Okay. So, you know how I gave you those short? That is the list. Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse is currently the highest ranked of these at number 11. Then Star Wars Episode 5, The Empire Strikes Back at 16. 7 is at 20. Seven Samurai is at 22. So no points for anyone.
Yeah. No faith in humanity. I mean, Spider-Man, I get it.
I can see things like jumping up.
I will say this. IMDb has a recency bias for very big and, to be fair, very good films.
Yeah.
My thinking with Across the Spider-Verse was that it's going to get low because a lot of people were hate rating it because it got a lot of anti-woke backlash.
People are stupid.
Yes, people are idiots.
All right.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Oh, it was phenomenal.
All right.
I still need to see it.
Yeah, you do.
All 4 of these are like fucking great movies.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
The final topic in Press Your List. I Might Die, Bro, which, as we all know, the I in that is spelled EYE. Place these horror movies featuring scenes of traumatic eye trauma in the order of their release. Zombie, a.k.a. Zombie 2. Un Chien Andalou. Return of the Blind Dead, and Howling 2, Sturba Werewolf Bitch.
Say those again.
Yeah, okay. Zombie, also known as Zombie 2, Un Chien Andalou, Return of the Blind Dead, Howling 2, Sturba Werewolf Bitch. A little bit extra bonus for this one. So Zombie, Splinter. Un Chien Andalou, Razor. Return of the Blind Dead, Burning. Howling 2, Eye Volcano.
Howling 2, the sequel to the werewolf movie?
The original Howling, yeah. Howling 2 has a separate title in the United States, which is My Your Sister is a Werewolf.
I was
However,
thinking
the original and better title is Howling 2, Sturba Werewolf Bitch. Again, place these in order of their release.
I have not seen the whatever it was.
Un Chien Andalou.
Yeah.
Or Andalou.
Andalou. I haven't seen that one, so. You said Return of the Blind Dead?
Return of the Blind Dead.
I'm going to be very angry with myself.
That's the secret. I'm always angry.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I see pencils, and stylus down. Okay, let's start with Ethan. Ethan, what is your list?
I'm not as confident with this one, so
Okay.
I only picked 2.
Okay, so just 2.
Return of the Blind Dead, then Howling 2.
Okay. All right. Jody, what do you got?
We got Return of the Blind Dead, Zombie, Howling, and then the
Un Chien Andalou.
Yeah, Un Chien.
Okay. Brady.
I only did 2. I did Zombie and Howling 2.
Zombie and Howling 2. Jody gets no points. The boys on either end get 2 points apiece for their 2-point lists. So the first time we're doing a smaller list actually helped. The order is Un Chien Andalou in 1929.
Oh, shit.
A Razor to the Eye.
Damn.
This movie was co-directed by Salvador Dali.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
I've seen that shot.
Fuck. The shot has been done twice.
Okay.
Un Chien is the first, and then there's a French film where
it's a French film.
Where the girl's face is being removed and replaced. One of the scenes is them cutting the eye with the scalpel. So that's where that scene comes from.
Is it like a finger, like 2 fingers
It's
open
like
up
opening
the eye,
and then
it cuts right when it's.
I think I've seen that.
Very famous. I
can't remember the name of the movie
it's
right now.
It's a very famous cut. I remember that part.
Yes.
Yeah.
1973 is the Return of the Blind Dead,
Yeah.
where the Templars get their eyes burned out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Then Zombie, a.k.a. Zombie 2, which is the splinter through the eye
That's
in 1979.
Yeah.
And then finally in 1984, Howling 2, Sturba Werewolf Bitch, which is my favorite of all of these because it is so over the top and insane. Sturba is a magical. She's a witch and a werewolf, and when she howls, she can create these sonic vibrations that can kill you. So they're given these blessed earplugs made out of wax of special candles from the Vatican, but this guy's earplugs fall out, and then he's hearing her howling. He starts bleeding out the nose, and then his eyes explode.
Oh, okay.
It's insane.
I've never seen the movie, but I've seen John Tron's review of the movie.
Which, real quick side note, just for anybody who's interested in any of these, you should watch most of them. But Return of the Blind Dead's actually better than the original movie. Tombs of the Blind Dead. After that, hard cut. No.
Yeah, I just knew it was safe to go. I knew Zombie was an older movie.
Yeah.
And then I knew Howling was
if
like
it
in the
wasn't
80s,
for the Salvador Dali movie, I would have been okay.
There you go.
Yeah.
No, it's
I should have skipped that one.
Yeah. You would have had 3 points and 3 points alone.
Right.
But there you go. So at the end of round 2.
Hey, Ethan, we beat Jody on a horror movie question.
Air 5.
There we go.
I hate you both. Not really.
So again, at the end of
Salvador Dali. Oh, okay. Sorry.
At the end of round 2, it is Ethan with 7 points, 7 whole points.
I'm on the board.
Brady and Jody are tied with 13 points going into the third and final round. And so, however, it is now time for one of our sponsors to get some highlights. Ethan, why don't you take it away, sir?
Do you also have a liquor cabinet that no longer exists?
Oh, too soon.
Do you also hate what is happening in AEW and WWE at the same time? Are you also thinking, maybe we should try NXT one more time, but you're probably not going to do it? Give Whiskey and Wrestling a try. Our good friends Jason Holder and Michael Hill, they somehow bring a Whiskey of the Week. That's magic. They drink it, give the review of it. They talk about what's been going on in the wrestling world, not just AEW and WWE, but primarily them. But they also throw in some things with like Impact or whatnots. Give them a check out. They're on all the podcast platforms. They might complain about CM Punk again, depending on what happens. So there you go. Give them a listen. Whiskey and Wrestling.
They'll complain about CM Punk along with the rest of everybody else.
I think that cheer from the audience was well timed, so that's very good. All right, gentlemen, welcome to the third and final round of the competition. It is a new round, something that came up with a bit while back and been wanting to kind of introduce on the show, but it's the Omnibus Time Warp. All right, so here's how the Omnibus Time Warp is going to go. We've all lived in various periods of time, and so what we're going to do is we're going to start with our oldest, and basically it's going to be Jody history, and then next up would be me, and it would be Jay history, then Ethan history, and then finally Brady history, and then finally Ethan history.
I was about to say
Yeah,
that's
no,
not
I skipped you. That's
not how
totally.
that goes.
So these are
I was about to
set.
say, if I'm younger than Ethan and I feel as shit as I do, man.
These questions are going to be set in periods of time where we were not born yet. So we're going to start with Jody, then me, then going to Brady, and then Ethan. There's each one of these questions is worth 5 points.
Okay.
This also will allow you to gain bonus points or perhaps lose points because I will then ask you for a follow-up questions on a timer.
Oh, shit.
You have to answer one way or the other. If you fail to get to the rest of the answers, those are negative points for you. They're considered minus points.
Motherfucker.
So if you get, there are 4 apiece, so at the very least, even if you get the question right and all the other questions wrong, you at least get a point out of it. So it could mean something. If you get all 4 of the backup questions, you get an additional point for 5 points for as much as 10 points. Big points. So big points in this round. So anybody not understand that? Okay. So here's the first question from Jody history. This invention dates back to ancient Sumeria and Mesopotamia and is the foundation of literacy and literacy learning.
Cuneiform.
Somebody else answer, and we're going to figure this out. I'm willing to give him this.
Can you repeat the question?
The invention dates back to ancient Sumeria and Mesopotamia and is the foundation of literacy and literacy learning. If someone doesn't answer with the specific answer, I'm going to give it to Jody. 3, 2, 1. The correct answer is writing. However, cuneiform is a form of writing. So I'm going to give the man the 5 points. Now, you have 15 seconds. It's 4 topics. Mm-hmm. You must tell me either before or after this invention becomes before or after writing. Your timer starts now. Agriculture.
Before.
Bronze working.
Before.
Wheel.
Before.
The Cambrian explosion.
Before.
All right. You got it in. Bronze working comes after writing in 2500 BC.
Gotcha.
Agriculture is 10,000 BC. The wheel is 3,500. It is before by 100 years.
Oh, wow.
And the Cambrian explosion happened in 538 million BC.
Yeah,
I was hoping Ethan would get that question so he could say that came after. I'm just saying it would have been the thing. So 5 for that. You missed 1. You got 3, so that's 2. That's 7 whole points, Jody.
Awesome.
Jody's in the lead.
Jody has 20 points going in. All right, now it's time for J history. Star Wars may have changed the world of entertainment. However, in the same year, a now legendary computer company released their iconic 2 computer for the first time. I can't give you the full name because that would be throwing out the fruit with the fruit basket. Jody,
Apple.
That is correct. All right. So, your bonus is coming after this. Before or after the release of the Apple II.
Okay.
Your timer starts now. The first Garfield comic.
Before.
Sony releases the Walkman.
After.
Microsoft releases DOS.
Before.
Jimmy Carter wins the presidency.
Before.
That is going to be a wash on the bonuses. The first Garfield comic came out a year later in 1978.
I hate you.
Sony releases the Walkman. Okay, we get it. Stop the timer. There you go. Thank you. Sony releases the Walkman in 1979. That was correct. Microsoft releases DOS in 1981. So that was after. And Jimmy Carter won the presidency in 1976. However, wash there. It's still 5 points for Apple. So you, sir, get another 5 points for... You're at 25 points. Very nice. All right. Now it is time for Brady history. His amazing friends were Firestar and Iceman. Who was the star of the early... go for it.
Spider-Man, The Amazing Friends.
That is technically incorrect. So the full question. His amazing friends were Firestar and Iceman. Who was the star of the early 80s animated Brady?
Spider-Man.
That is correct. Sorry, but it is.
It's all
what it
good.
is. There we go. Okay, so Brady, this is going to be before or after. This is children's shows. Did they premiere before or after Spider-Man and His Amazing Friends?
Did you say the date in there? Or?
I did not say the date for Spider-Man. No.
Okay.
I didn't say the date for Apple either. So
Okay.
yeah. I will give the dates for everything after that.
Okay.
Which, by the way, writing 3400 BC. That was the only one I didn't kind of get there. So your timer starts now. Double Dare.
After.
Pinwheel.
Before.
You Can't Do That on Television.
After.
And Fraggle Rock.
After.
3 right, 1 wrong. Double Dare did appear after 1986. Spider-Man was 1981, ran for 3 seasons. Pinwheel was before in 1979, as was You Can't Do That on Television in 1979. That was the one you got wrong. However, Fraggle Rock was 1983. 3 right, 1 wrong means 2 points. 5 points for the question. That's another 7 points, sir. You have 20 points. Finally, Ethan history. The last episode of this show, accurately named The Finale, saw the end of one of the most critically acclaimed and most watched sitcoms of all time. The finale is considered a disappointment to many. Jody.
Seinfeld.
That is correct. To finish off the question, and is one of the most hated hours of TV in history, starting a trend that would touch other TV finales, including The Sopranos, Lost, Sherlock, How I Met Your Mother, and Game of Thrones.
Sopranos is actually a good finale.
I agree with that too, but there are many people who disagree with that.
Oh yeah, we'll probably get.
I did not like the finale for Sherlock.
Okay.
I did not.
I didn't get
I
that
haven't
far.
watched that.
By the time I stopped watching Sherlock, it had already gone to shit.
All right. So Seinfeld. Mm-hmm. These are when these shows completed. In other words, their series finale. Did they happen before or after the Seinfeld finale?
Okay.
Your timer starts now. Friends.
After.
Cheers.
Before.
Frasier.
After.
Married with Children.
Before.
You have gotten all 4 of them correct for 5 points on there, so 10 points in total. That is another 10 points for you. Seinfeld was 1998. Married with Children was before in 1997. That was the one closest in time. Cheers happened in 1999. 93, I believe. Yeah, I wrote that down there. Frasier and Friends both ended in 2004. All right. There's a final question. It is worth 15 points. It is recent history.
Is this one set up like the other ones, or is
No,
this
this
just
is just
a question?
This is just a question.
Okay, cool.
For 15 points. A 10-letter word made its way into every question in the CQC section of this show. Name that word.
Oh, fucking hell.
Your window closes in 3, 2, 1. The word was millennium, also millennial. It appeared in every CQC question. That question was a little bit behind baseball, as Brady is wont to say. We had 2 show episodes. They were the greatest episodes the show was ever going to have. And we had these ideas. And it's like, that's going to be great. We just have to remember the one we're going to put before that. It's going to be great. And then when we finally got the one we were going to put before that, we couldn't remember the other 2.
Yeah.
So our short-term memories are very bad.
Right.
And so I wanted to test to see if our short-term memories were still good there. So yeah, that was the reason why millennium or millennial appeared in every question in the CQC. So there you go.
Gotcha.
So no one gets points there. So with a final tally of Ethan with 7, Brady with 20, Jody with 35 points. You are the winner of this recent, the 4th annual trivia time with the Omnibus.
Odds were forever in my favor at least once this one time.
There you go.
Because I have not won any of these until tonight.
So think on the show idea that you want to present for a later show coming up in the hopefully near future. But as we wait for that, Brady, sir, if you would, give us our final plug from one of our fantabulous sponsors.
I'm not listening to any Mr. Bungle.
I will respond by saying I'm not listening to any Mr. Bungle.
Okay, good.
Egypt and Syria have made peace, or Israel and Egypt have made peace.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, yeah, you called on me to do it. Speaking of Jody, our illustrious winner, he also has a podcast that he did not plug not one time in this, which I am very proud of him for. So if you like horror movies and all things having to do with horror, and you like hearing somebody talk about the weird shit in horror, listen to Fearology. It's a podcast that Jody hosts, sometimes in the form of JL Kite. So it's everywhere that podcasts are. I think maybe just download all the apps and then look through each of them until you find one that has it, and then keep that one. So yeah, if that sounds interesting to you, check that out. Fearology.
Yeah, if you Google Fearology, there's like 2 things that pop up, and one is the actual study of fear, and then my podcast.
Okay.
Well, another fantastic quiz episode has gone through the books. So, Jody, many glowing words have been said about you and your podcast, but it is about this podcast. So the next time that we can slot in, which is going to be maybe 3 or 4 episodes down the line, what are we doing? Guaranteed.
Guaranteed?
Guaranteed.
I don't know.
Are you going to table that?
It's tabled for now.
You're going to table it for now? So a month down the line, to be determined, hosted by Jody Kite. There we go. Well, yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming out to the quiz show. As always, greatly appreciate that. The next time we do one of these, we have been volunteered or voluntold, I guess.
Voluntold, I like that.
But we all seconded it as soon as we heard the idea. But our dear friend Jason Holder, again from Whiskey and Wrestling, will actually be the host. We will be submitting genres of what we think we're very good at, and he is going to create the questions, and we're going to have a whole little board for them. So this time, all of us will have all of our buzzers active, and we'll have a single host for that. So I'm pretty excited about that. That is going to be further down the line, but that is the next time that we're going to be doing this quiz show. There you go. So I guess I'll plug the Twitches. So yeah, once again, Kevin Gallo, aka Ron and Roosta on Twitch, and Kevin Gallo on YouTube, bringing you some of the
Fucker snuck in 2 plugs.
He got a second plug.
I know, exactly. Well, that's what happens when you do feedback. Maybe we should feedback our own show, and we can just plug our own show on our show and do plugception.
Brody Davies has called in.
Let's make you French. Brody Devois.
I think Davis is used to be French.
She used to be French. There you go. But yeah, no. But again, once again, Run and Roost on Twitch, bringing you exciting RPG sessions, either from the dark future of Cyberpunk Red or from the happy near future of Pokeroll, the unofficial Pokemon podcast. Again, that's every Tuesday, at least when their voices hold up. His voice actually went out on him for a little bit. But I hope you get better soon, brother, and get away from that. The Completed podcast of Brandon Scott, Tanner, Christopher Vega, and all the crew over at Team Metamorph, bringing you Magic the Gathering, strategy, Magic the Gathering Road Stories.
They just give you strategy on Magic.
On just Magic.
Yeah.
They're actual wizards.
Yes. Oh my God. Wizards of the Coast is going to send the Pinkertons after them.
Yeah.
There you go. April Duggan from Apes Place over on Twitch, bringing you horror games and Tears of the Kingdom gameplay pretty much every day except Sundays, and every day she wants to just take a day off. So that's pretty cool there. And finally,
what you want her to do it every fucking day? Get off her back. Shit.
Yeah. She don't need no. I don't know. What is
she's a strong, independent woman, and she don't need nobody listening to her podcast or stream or whatever the fuck it is. No, I'm old. I don't know what the difference is.
No, I think she needs people watching the stream. I mean,
she does. Yeah, give her time.
There you go. Time and money. We'd appreciate that. There you go.
She is a strong,
mostly independent
woman who does need you to watch her stream.
Censored.
Cameron Spanier, the God Gaming of Macknar Gaming and Ghost State, Mississippi.
The God Gaming.
Yeah. Come by. They may have a copy of Leviathan to sell over the weekend if nobody else buys them all out.
Don't forget, the Lord of the Rings card game, MTG card expansion comes out.
Will you get the one ring that'll be worth $1 million?
$2 million, sir.
$2 million?
It's $2 million. It's $2 million.
$2 million for one card. Good luck.
That's probably going to be a Pringle. Whoever opens it.
Like it's gonna be a Pringles chip.
Have you seen a foil card for Magic? Like
are they in a box of Pringles?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Shit.
Yeah.
I hope that somebody just buys a pack and gives it to like their little 4-year-old, and he just like rips it up. That would be so fucking funny.
You can open a brand new pack of Magic cards, and if it's foil, sometimes they'll just be curled like a Pringles chip.
Yes,
that's not cool at all.
Not if the card's worth $2 million.
No, because we know very fat people who will just eat those cards. Like me. Like, I'll just fucking do that right now.
Just eat some cards.
There you go.
Just eat some cards.
Next time on Travelers on the Omnibus, we will bring you our takes on the world of hidden movement board games. Again, you had a little taster this week about Beast, but we're going to be talking about the whole thing, going all the way back to Scotland Yard and wherever they're going from in the future. So, yeah, there you go. I guess once more around the table, unless anybody else has anything else they want to bring up.
No.
Cool beans. All right. So, again, once around the table, my name's James McCarthy.
My name's Ethan Skinner.
My name's Jody Kyatt.
I'm Brady Davis.
Was that like a Canadian Lothario?
Yeah, that's what it was.
It's like
if Wolverine was trying to sound sexy.
Are you gonna take her to your syrup dungeon?
No, not at all.
That's the third.
Speaking of horrifying things,
syrup.
Le dungeon is syrup.
Speaking of horrifying things, and us like continuing on after our show is supposed to be over already, I did have an idea for a show.
Oh God! Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
Breaking news.
The second ever. I think we've done this before. I don't know. My memory is a sieve.
Clearly, because you couldn't remember Millennium.
My brain is like a sponge. It's full of holes. So, Fear on the Omnibus, a Fearology episode on this show.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
So, the Fearology takes over the Omnibus.
It's nepotismception.
Yeah.
Nepoception.
Nepoceps. Everybody went. That's how we ended. 3, 2, 1.